So, I'm gonna edit all that.
Really?
All right. Yep. Recording. All right. Welcome to Reasonable Wrestling. I am the Most High, Chris, and with my tag team partner, CT.
Chitty bang.
And this is Reasonable Wrestling, and this is not going to be a typical wrestling podcast. Obviously,
No siree.
obviously we're going to do the week that was and some review stuff, but we're both film and production students, so we're going to be coming to wrestling looking at it from a different angle. Best written, worst written, best produced, worst produced. We're also going to be talking about a little bit of logic in wrestling. I mean, we're marks, but some of you guys are really marks. You know what I mean? So,
and we admit it. We're marks. You know, we love wrestling. We grew up on it, but we want to tackle it from a logical sense, from like a more pragmatic sense, which we think WWE, the way they operate. You know, it's all about business too. So when you factor in business, when you factor in the logic, when you factor in the bottom line,
you get reasonable wrestling.
You get reasonable wrestling, pretty much.
So we're bringing it to you live. Gonna be a little bit uncut, a lot of bit of uncut. Maybe when we get some sponsorships, maybe I'll censor myself a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
See how big the check is.
You gotta get the check first. You gotta get the check.
So first off, we're gonna get right into it, man. So the first segment of the show we're gonna kick off is called The Week That Was. It's gonna be a review of the week, and we're not gonna do segment by segment. What we do, we're gonna get into our high spots. What was the thing that got us, that resonated with us throughout the week, whether it be Raw, SmackDown, NXT. So my high spot, I wanted to say it was Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan, but I'm not going to take that. My high spot as a whole was NXT. I actually was there. We're down here in Orlando. Went to NXT taping, and Ricochet and Velveteen Dream. That's my high spot. Those two guys have the crowd in the palm of their hands.
It was dope from watching it on screen alone. It was dope, like, because I wasn't there. And I wish I was there because, like, I could see the energy. Velveteen Dream and Ricochet just have this, whatever they say, it factor. They have it. And I'm captivated by them both whenever they get ready. So to see them together against another person who I think is underrated in terms of his it factor is Lars Sullivan. So that was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Lars, when you talk about heel heat, man, Lars has that. Lars is a bad guy that the crowd really wants to see get his comeuppance. So and Lars is really educated. He's eloquent. So having him and Aleister Black go back and forth, I do want to see those promos going forward. I do want to see how that's written, how that's produced.
Absolutely.
So that's where we coming from when we're talking about when we watch wrestling, and when we talk about it factor. When I'm talking about NXT, and when I'm talking about a high spot, nothing's more of a high spot than bleeping Adam Cole. All right, Undisputed Era. You guys are. Man, listen. All right, so we're gonna have a little 1.5 episode. It's gonna be character spotlight. Make sure y'all check that out. We're gonna post it right after this later on this week. And that character spotlight is gonna be on Adam Cole.
Adam Cole, man. Adam Cole,
baby.
Interesting. He's a man. I talked about it in the spotlight, but I wasn't always a big Adam Cole fan, and seeing him in NXT has made me get it now. I want to get more into Adam Cole spotlight, but yeah. What else you got to say about your high spot?
Man, I would just say, make sure that whenever you guys watch NXT, just look at it's a big production. Make sure you guys are paying attention to how it's produced, how it's written. That Gargano and Ciampa storyline,
flawless. Oh my god,
it's
the best, juiciest thing on TV right now for me.
You know, you gotta remember, man. Wrestling's a variety show. Wrestling is obviously scripted. Let's not, we know that. So the way it's written and the way it's produced and it's given to us is a big factor to how we suspend our disbelief. So NXT is a product that if you're not following, if you have the network,
oh my god, you gotta watch it. It's unbelievable. If you're a fan of wrestling,
if you're a fan of
wrestling,
you
gotta be a fan of NXT. Yeah. It's the best of both worlds when it comes to creating a vision of writing meets production in a gritty way that appeals to I think anyone, even kids,
Yeah, that. Oh man,
it's
yeah.
unbelievable.
The high. Talk about a high spot. I sat with a family. It was the two parents, and they had two small boys and a girl, and they were super engaged. And the 3-year-old was a heel magnet. He loved every heel. So me and him were best friends. So speaking of high spots, that's NXT, man. You create those moments. You create those feels.
That's a cool kid right there. When the kid gets it, that it like gets the heels. Like, cause me, I know as a kid, I didn't like the bad guys until I was at least like I was at least like, let's see, 10. Then I started to like bad guys because I got sick of Stone Cold. But
yeah, he was at least like 3. I promise you, he was like at least 3 or 4.
Yeah,
the shirt couldn't even fit him. Like the sleeve was coming down to his wrist.
Yeah,
like,
I can't. But it's dope that a kid that's that young
throwing up the
throw the
sign, like
connecting with the heels. That's pretty cool. And I think that NXT meets that balance. So here's the problem with this. I think that we'll hit, if we do high spots, we're going to say NXT every week because NXT is on fire always. It's so good, So
I could.
That's why.
That's true. And like I said, Joe and Daniel.
I'm going to go to my,
Okay,
I'm going to go to my high spot.
Let's go into your high spot.
And that's why I'm making my high spot of the week. Daniel Bryan matching with Jeff Hardy. Oh my God. It was so good to see them psychology. Daniel Bryan working his leg to the point where, he puts in the heel hook, not even the, we don't see that where it's like we have Daniel Bryan working, telling a story through working a leg and then defeats the guy with something that's different than the label lock, the yes lock. So he worked the leg and then he actually lost to a leg move. It's not like he just worked the legs just so he couldn't do a Swanton Bomb. He worked the legs so he can actually defeat him with that move. It was just incredible to see that, as a great way to tell a story and to get that move over in a sense. And so I hear Big Cass is injured again, and it looks like Daniel Bryan's free now. So we have Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan next week, that face off at the end of the night. Who can say that any wrestling fan can't say like they didn't love that stare down, and they're excited to see that match next week.
Yeah, that man, so YouTube is a great thing, when I'm bored, I go down rabbit holes in YouTube, and so I wasn't a big ROH fan, but when you see AJ and you see Samoa Joe and you see Tyler Black, aka Seth Rollins, and you see Colossus, which is Cesaro, and you see Bryan Danielson, you have to go back on YouTube and watch those ROH matches, and Daniel Bryan and Samoa Joe, that rivalry was what put independent wrestling on the map.
I need to check that out.
So that gave me hope, and I know they're older, so I know their psychology is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I mean? Joe has to protect himself. He's lost a few runs because of injury.
Mm-hmm.
He lost a couple. They were trying to slot him in. It was gonna be him and Cena at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Or at least that's what we thought. It's speculation, of course.
Yeah.
Seeing Joe and Daniel and knowing that match, and what if that goes into a tie, and then we get a series of that. Neither one of them get Money in the Bank.
That would be really cool. Like if neither one of them in Money in the Bank, or putting both of them in, I would love. Because I want to see that match come again down the line.
Exactly.
Like a PPV, pay-per-view, and because we know the work they could do together. Like imagine seeing Joe and Bryan at SummerSlam.
Well, I don't want SummerSlam to not be
Miz and Bryan. Yeah.
I
think so too.
Brooklyn will explode.
Oh yeah.
Because speaking of character
spotlight.
Miz,
you gotta do character spotlight. Miz, he's on another level.
I'm a Marine, so I know you don't really portray us the best because the writing of the movies are not the best. But shout out to you playing a Marine 4 times.
Yeah.
So I respect you. I used to watch you on the railroad, bro.
Yeah, I watched the season 2.
Dog.
Coral. Girl was a baddie.
Yo,
She's fine.
and speaking of NXT, like that I watched NXT when you was Daniel Bryan's. He was Daniel Bryan's
mentor. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And it's like it's coming full circle. That's that.
Yo,
so
you know who else was in there? Shout out to Low Key. And MVP. They both was in. Oh, shout out to MLW. Make sure y'all check that out.
MLW.
Shameless plug. MLW Fusion. BN Sports.
BN Sports.
So MVP and Low Key or Cabal.
Cabal. Yeah, that was his name. Wow.
And Husky Harris.
Forgot
and Bray
name.
Wyatt. Come on, like
yes.
You
know what? I remember creating him inside my SmackDown vs. Raw game and putting Cabal, and when he was violent.
Yeah, he was
violent. Yeah, very violent. Very violent. Yeah. For a little guy, he's a freaking goer. He can go.
He can go. Yeah, he's still going.
Yeah, he still is. Yeah.
Yeah. So Miz, you're gonna be probably in 2.5 after episode 2. We're gonna probably deep dive into the Miz. Yeah. Because Miz and Dan Bryan.
So look out for that.
Look out for that. Miz and Dan Bryan is something I definitely would like to see at SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
That's a story, and it's a story that they didn't know that.
Yeah. Maybe not Samoa Joe and Dan Bryan this SummerSlam.
No, not this SummerSlam.
No, but at a SummerSlam, it could be. Even
I think
bigger.
that can be a Mania match.
That could be a Mania match as well. I can see this. I can see
you
having a draw and then a Mania match, and then who knows where it goes. Because we need a main event for SmackDown next year. I think the main event for Raw next year could be something again with Brock and Roman. I don't know.
I think honestly, as hot as let's get into you want to wrap up your high spot? Or
that's pretty much wrap up my high spot. The Daniel Bryan thing, and it led into the Samoa Joe. I just want to say about Samoa Joe, he is also one that is working on all cylinders. Other than that Roman match, which I wasn't really a fan of, I think that his promo work and his other matches on TV, he just comes across as a legit badass in such a way that is so authentic. Joe. He's my favorite guy at the moment from on TV right now.
I will concur. I do want to say, and that goes if it's not. I think it is Joe because I can't give it to Seth only because the way they got him as the baby face.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that kind of ties into my
I feel you. I completely get
the
that.
segment, the segment of the first hour of Raw was so drawn out.
Yeah.
To get to an endpoint of having Seth rub some babyface on Roman. So if they fix his character, because I can also see a heel Roman, babyface Rollins.
Mm-hmm. Dynamic. Yeah, that will be a good thing to run Raw. That's their Raw. Oh my God.
Yeah,
if they get to that point where they turn Roman on Seth, and he's just bloody Seth, that would be an epic moment.
Imagine they keep producing Seth keeps saving Roman for some reason, and Roman just I don't
need saving.
I'm big dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can take a few bites, you know what I mean? And then he just turns on Seth.
Shit. Talk about fantasy booking, my name.
Oh, man.
Fantasy booking. Which is go into pages in the book right now.
That's our
next
segment.
Great segue.
Shit. It's a segue into
that's what I'm talking about.
Pages in the book is our fantasy book and what we would do, how we take what's produced for what we saw and make it better. So that was kind of my, it was the best produced segment. I'm lying. The best produced, I'm lying. I'm so lying. The best produced segment was Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
That was you know what I mean? That was a really great written out, produced segment to, provoke the baby face, the heel just poking the bear, and that baby face ain't no chump, you know what I mean? Yes, he should have listened to his wife. And then at the beginning of the promo, he says, after considering the health of my family and stuff.
Exactly. What I liked about the storyline they wrote there is I love when promos come full circle. Like I was telling you that before. Yeah, he says in his promo, Gargano, that he says, I put, he comes out it seems like he's about to quit. And he's like, I've, put all this on my family. I risked my family, my friends. I've hurt everybody, and I can't do this anymore by coming and wrestling. It seems like he's about to quit, and Candice is trying to get him to quit. pretty much, and he rips off his neck brace and he fires back up because the fans are on his side. Gargano's so over as a babyface, and they're just screaming his name. And then he, with the behest of the fans, he says, "No, I can't do this. Fuck it. Ciampa, I want your ass down here." And Ciampa comes out, and what's cool is that it was like poetic justice because at the end of the promo and the segment, Candice gets hurt by trying to prevent Johnny from attacking Ciampa. And it was unintentional. So it's like what he prophesied in the beginning of the promo came to fruition by the end of the promo. And I love that poetic coming full circle in a segment or a storyline, much less a freaking promo,
So when we're sitting here and we have these conversations off camera and off recorded, and this is what we talk about. This is what how some when we talk about creative, right? And people bash creative, and that's what other people do in their podcasts and stuff like that. We won't necessarily do that. If it's bad, it's bad. We're going to say it's bad, but we do want to highlight really good stuff, or we want to talk about it in a different way. And so when he just talked about how that promo was delivered, that's written that way in script. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That script is presented that way, and it's produced that way, and it's, you know what I mean? And that post-production is edited that way. You know what I mean?
It's all intentional. Everything is done with a purpose. The shots, afterwards.
That's what makes NXT so professional. That's what makes it. The production quality.
It just pulls you in, man. It just draws you in. Even from way back when I knew, when I saw, Sasha in her heel run, they did some great production with those shots on Bayley and Agony, the shots on Sasha, the hell they put each other through, and it made you tie yourself to these characters, and feel for them in a way that on certain pay-per-views or TV you don't have that exact production value. And to me, I recommend what NXT does.
I also have some fantasy book, and I think we can weave in and out with between our best produced and worst producers with our work with us. This is our first episode, but we kind of do have a run sheet of how we want things to go. But as we get to talking, we'll weave in and out between fantasy booking of our best produced and worst produced, how we can make things better, how we can tweak them, how we like to see them, and stuff like that. So speaking of that, best produced segment and fantasy booking, quick note, I don't want to go too deep, but my fantasy booking of this best produced segment was to further out this drama and have, I don't know how we get this strap off of Alistair.
Okay.
And put it on Ciampa.
Oh, okay.
And we
I like that.
And we crown Johnny over Ciampa.
Do you want to just do this right now? Or
no, that's but we'll come back to that. That's some way we sparked this up. Yeah. But I would like to come back to how I would like to, because Johnny won already, but he didn't win, right? So and it can be title versus loser leaves NXT forever, and Ciampa has the strap, and Ciampa's like, I got what you don't have. Yeah, you beat me. That can be the story. You know what I mean? Like, write that out, and that'd be dope. So tune into that. Make sure if y'all want to hear more of that story.
I think that's the awesome.
That'll be in some pages in the book later on.
Pages in the book, absolutely.
My worst, and I think we both have the same sentiment.
Yes, we do.
Our worst written and produced segment. Probably on time. I mean, Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. I mean,
holy shit, man.
I mean, let's just break it down for.
Let's break it down. I told we're roommates, and I had my girlfriend, and I showed her the Bobby Lashley promo they did when he was with Renee Young, with talking about how much he loves his sisters and shit.
We're gonna have to like the leave it. I mean,
how much he loves his sisters and shit. So I showed her this because she's not like an avid wrestling fan. So I showed her this segment just to get her honest opinion. I didn't say shit. Like, what does this make you feel as a a general audience, viewer to this.
Because and the reason why, and we're going to get into this to another segment, is business and the logic of wrestling, because we want to talk about the logic of wrestling. And
yeah, because how do you draw more viewers in with that segment? I'm trying to see.
Okay.
So if somebody's scrolling through channels like, oh, this guy's talking about his sisters, and it's the wrestling. What makes them want to stay and watch that shit, And because we already know it's not for the mainstream fan, because it's so fucking bizarre and stupid. Like, what audience are they going for with that? So I showed her, and she was, let's just say she was creeped the fuck out by the way Bobby was smiling. She's creeped the fuck out by Renee not getting a word in, and then the way he's awkwardly talking about his sisters, and nothing was good. But at the end, he says, "I love you all." So she was so turned off by the promo. So it just failed. And then you come fast forward to now, Sami Zayn trying to pull this shit out the gutter with his promo, which he's doing great. But this segment, he just couldn't, because it was written in such a poorly way. The shots on these men in drag, it just, oh my god, like, who was supposed to watch this and say this is funny, or and they're just black men in dresses on TV. Like, who's gonna say this is funny? Who's gonna say this? Oh, I want to stop and watch this. Who's gonna say that after they watch it? I don't think anybody's saying that shit.
So for one, it was written horrible. For two, it was produced and ran way too long. So let's just get that out the way of what that happened. Too long. And so you bring Bobby, like, I was there, okay? I was in New Orleans, Raw after Mania. I went to Mania, and I was at the Raw at the Mania, and Bobby got a. That was a legit pop. That wasn't post edited or anything like that. Like,
people thought it was like, oh, they're just like putting that on. And I think Bobby is a guy.
He's a guy.
We physically imposing, like, and we see this guy, even if you don't know him. And for the fans who do know him, it's even better. But if you don't even know him, like, oh god, this guy, he's a
beast. He's 42. He's an Army veteran. He's a legit shoot fighter at Bellator.
He should be.
He has a winning record, even regardless of who he fought. So when you're in a cage with somebody,
this is an open fucking goal. This is an open fucking goal. And I'm not saying he's the best worker.
No,
but in terms of portraying him as a character, just go with the legit badass army guy. Okay. That is gonna pound you to the dust.
So we have
what's this sister bullshit.
Okay, so we have a chapter in our fantasy book. Okay. So welcome to
Booking Black.
Yeah, welcome to Booking Black. All right, this is a chapter that we'll visit.
Oh my goodness.
Probably fairly regularly. Yeah. So we're both black. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah.
And we noticed that WWE doesn't have the best track record when portraying African American talent.
It's terrible. It's absolutely horrendous.
And I think
there's very few portrayed. Like, I think Booker T, New Day, great, but outside of them, nothing else comes great to mind.
Apollo Crews really could have had a chance. He's another physical, imposing guy. Titus O'Neil really had a chance. If you wanna highlight how great of a person he is, then give him a strap, give him a storyline that makes sense.
I don't even think that, like, you gotta even give somebody a strap to respect their character, and just that the way they write for these black characters is so it's so stupid. It just makes no sense in terms of, like, we're not like.
So I moved down.
Everything's like a caricature.
I moved down here to be. I was a film student at Full Sail, and I wanted to be an intern so I can be a writer for WWE. That's still a goal of mine. So hopefully, I don't know where this podcast is going to lead us to. Hopefully, our ideas make sense. I know a lot of people put their ideas out there and they put a lot of time and stuff into it, but sometimes it's logic. It's very logical. You know what I mean? And I don't know if you have enough people in the room that can present logical expertise when it comes to writing for these guys.
You're writing for African Americans, because
we're marketable, man.
Yeah,
I mean, let's not and I don't want, we're not going to turn this into what this is, but Booking Black is just going to be our personal fantasy booking specifically for a black character, a backstory.
Yeah.
How we can book heroes
as black men, how we see it, because we know the writers in this room, they're not, if there's any, there's absolutely none probably are black. I don't think any people writing for WWE are black. I don't know, but maybe there's one or two.
And if so, his influence has to be
minimal,
and therefore it has to be present. Like, shout out to whoever got that the Wale segment, and New Day and Uso.
Yeah. That was legit something that resonated with a black audience that was authentic, So whatever, I'm pretty sure New Day and Usos had a lot of say in that. So I wonder if we had more black representation, if the portrayal of these characters would be in a little bit more compelling way, that they get over and they are showed in a way that they're given a chances to actually succeed. Because a lot of things, if you're just, I'm not saying everybody's a A+ player, but they gotta be portrayed in a place that they can actually get over. With this topic, I don't think Talents Worldwide is gonna resonate. I don't think, So, and as a black person, I know this. It's not gonna resonate.
I think if it was done in a way, so boom, I know we're supposed to get into
we're supposed
to get into Bobby Lashley, but a quick thing with Titus Worldwide though, if they legit, they just did a 2-week tour. You know what I mean? If Titus, why not have Titus contend for the Intercontinental Dream, for the Titus Worldwide Championship or something like that, or legit have him do press at these other countries. You know what I mean? Like,
when he had to make him feel like a legit presence. That if you want to go, you got to go all big with that.
And if he was going to be the LeVar-esque thing of what he was supposed to legit start off be as a recruiting talent, then his talent should have gotten over.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they actually pushed that, or if they said he got, let's say Titus brought in let's say who's the good person? Let's say he brought in. What
if he brought in the Street Profits?
The Street Profits or something like that. Oh yeah, a good tag team. But I'm saying if they let's say they wanted to push him like a main eventer with that gimmick. It's not a terrible gimmick, but if they want to push him as like a main eventer, I'm not saying that he has to even be that. But you got to bring in somebody other than Apollo Crews and Dana that looks like they're a threat too, like that. Somebody like just saying off the top of my head, like a Dean Ambrose, but I'm not that it fits even, but somebody of that level.
But why Apollo couldn't come in and be like, again, so boom. So now let's get into Bobby. This is what I'm saying. Okay, so sorry we went off in a little tangent, and we might do that. So
I know what I'm saying makes probably just not making much sense. I'm definitely not Dean Ambrose. But okay, somebody that level.
So let's talk about how if Bobby would have came in, if Bobby and we're off Titus Worldwide now. We're talking about Bobby. So
this is why we came with Booking Black, because this is
if Bobby would have came in and he comes in and he's first night squash Elias, kicks him out the ring. It was like, I'm back. I know we got some quote unquote shoot fighters in here. And one of them's at the top of the mountain. I'm here to let them know that I'm here to chip off that top. That's an interesting, intriguing. If people know, and then WWE can get Bellator footage. They have other stuff with him working. Being a monster back in the day.
You just gotta show him. As the threat he is,
or even give him a few Braun. Him and Braun are not doing it. Come in and you can say I want a title shot, and Braun's like, nah,
have them go at it.
I don't think you deserve one.
Have them go at it. Make him a heel. I mean, he was a heel in
he was heel in
Impact
TNA
or whatever. What you want to call it, Impact TNA, whatever.
High Impact, Global Force Warning, whatever.
Whatever you want to call it, he was a heel in that, and I think they called him like Walking Armageddon.
He's a
Walking Armageddon, and that's a good moniker. You're a Walking Armageddon. You're gonna wreck shop, and what you need to do is make him fucking wreck shop as a heel, as if like he's that big, not like Thanos threat, you know.
But I think that's another thing too when we come to booking Black. When we're talking about booking Black, and what we'll get deeper into it is that WWE, I feel like, has a difficult time booking African American heels because they don't want to have the big bad black guy, which I do. I mean, but I mean,
Yeah.
you can't always have the super white.
Yeah,
you can't have the white hero. You know what I mean? Like so. And if you're gonna book a black guy, you have to book him non-generic.
Yeah, exactly. Where, you gotta make it authentic.
And their hip stuff is not hip because Vince is not hip.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
it has to be because there are just people you can write like them in such a compelling way that they fit that niche as a black person, but they're just on it a devious side of it, you know. And I guess you don't want to stereotype it, but you can write for black people without making a stereotype, and that's the only thing I'm saying. Like
Yeah, I mean, but I unfortunately that goes back to where I feel like there's not a lot of the writers that they do have there are not equipped. You know what I mean, to write in that way. You know what I mean. I think Bobby coming in as a heel could have worked, like I said, or Bobby coming in challenging for a title and then getting stopped by Roman or getting stopped by Braun.
I think that would be. I'm not saying he has to be champion. I'm just saying
that. No, not champion. No, but I'm saying that
portray him as a threat.
He should not be.
Even if he came in and lost to Braun first one, I wouldn't mind it. I personally wouldn't mind it because I think that makes sense. At least shows that he went toe to toe with Braun and he's not some chump. And the next feud could be somebody like let's go for
or him and or if
Seth
you want
after that, or him and not Seth because I know Seth would have to go over for that too. Him and some other face,
No, I mean honestly, let's drop
Gable maybe.
I know. I think you dropped it. I mean, if you want to make an impact, Bobby can hold the IC strap. You know what I mean, and take it from Seth because I think Seth is elevated at this point where he's red hot. I think
that can happen too.
He's in a Shawn-esque realm right now where Vince.
Right now he can do no wrong.
Vince seen it. Vince has seen it work with a smaller guy before.
Yeah.
And I think they trust him enough with that knee that if they put him in a high profile program, but then again, they might be scared to. You know what I mean? They might be scared to, put, they gave him.
Yeah.
Him and Roman was gonna be it.
Yeah, for a while. Yeah.
That was gonna be
without injury. That was gonna be like the
Mm-hmm.
Edge Christian. Edge John Cena.
Yeah.
They're gonna have a story rival.
Yeah.
But then injury came in between that.
Yep. So when it comes to booking Black, I think that we both have our different ideas of how Bobby could have came in, but I definitely think Bobby could have came in and presented himself as a threat instead of a tag team because now look, he tagged with Braun and then Braun ends up tagging with Finn for a week and then then they have a match. Why couldn't that have been Braun and Bobby?
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like you kind of wasted that tag breakup. Braun could have been like, I don't work well with friends, and Bobby was like, well, I didn't want to be your friend.
Yeah.
At the end, they told me I'm wrestling.
Yeah.
That's how you weave in logic in real life. Bobby could have been like, I came and they told me I was tagging with you.
And he's there for competition. He's not there for be friends.
Exactly.
He's there. Rec shop, you can have competition. You can make him as a competitive black guy, and he's not here, to just like.
He's not here to be smiling and shake hands. Hey, I'm a veteran. I come
and you can still be a face that way too.
Exactly.
You can be a face and you can be heel that way. But whatever you want, that can be his character. He's competitive. Will kick ass.
I come from a competitive. I come from Bellator. I come from competitive.
Yeah.
I just came from where I was at. I was champion. And other promotions. I
want to be champion here. That's a great character, and it's just like easy to me as a black man to say that, see the where they could take
a black character. You know what I mean? Like I think,
and particularly Bobby Lashley, because
shout out to E too. Like I think E.
Oh my God, Big E,
man, bro,
potential.
Like he can be like. shout out to New Day because I know they move.
New Day, man, y'all work so hard, man. I really respect y'all. Your work ethic is crazy.
I got 2 boxes of Bootios at my brother's house from my niece and nephews. The posters up on the wall. We got they got all the toys. The toys is there. Like we definitely. I mean, we got the book. You know what I mean? Like we support. We get your money, but at the same time, we want to see a little bit more. When you guys were serious, I was there in Buffalo, man. When they had a match with Cena. That match was.
Oh.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, they beat him down. They beat him down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yo.
They left. They ended the show on them.
Yo. And they were over.
Yeah.
Like, like give us a little bit more intensity.
Yeah. A little,
but your face. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. I do understand that. You know what I mean? And WWE does right, and this goes right into business and logic of wrestling. This is another segue that we'll be talking about. We'll get into. This is what we would like to discuss. Kind of why WWE books the way they do. You know what I mean? This is why ours is fantasy book and theirs is reality. The logic of wrestling is New Day moves a lot of product, man, and you can sell that to corporate network. Like, hey, we have these marketable African American.
Look at these numbers.
Yeah, we have marketable African positive African American.
Yeah.
And that's dope.
Yeah.
That's really dope.
It
that's
really
dope.
is something that, it does change the world in a sense, because people start to see things and images and say like, wow, that's not...
I mean, and people can look at them and say they're, I don't know if that's if what I'm about to say is a curse word, but jigaboo. We can, because they shucking and jiving.
I don't think so.
They're having fun, man.
And I think they are genuinely themselves on TV.
They're having fun with their friends.
Because there are black guys that are just goofy, and there are black guys who are serious, and there are black guys who are either an athlete, a criminal, or just
And I mean, honestly, what the difficult part is, I think what it is that, yes, our most influential African American are entertainers. You know what I mean? And that's difficult to break the narrative when the entertainers are, they have the most influence. They're the most noticeable. You know what I mean? If the entertainers go in and highlight a graduating black class of doctors or lawyers or something like that would help. Or but that's just not the realm. The what we do see is the ones who are successful are entertainers.
Yes,
so
exactly.
As E and Xavier and Kofi are entertainers, I feel like they're the most genuine of the entertainers because I think they're really themselves. Like they're shown to be. They all have degrees. Xavier's a doctor.
Exactly. And I was thinking like if they gave him that doctoral, I could see them ruining it, but I could also see a real upside because I don't trust them to write that doctoral.
But we can write that.
But we can write that doctoral where he's a villain.
Yeah.
He's a heel doctor, and he's a black because they did a doctor as Dr. Isaac, or that's a dentist.
No, this is not. But he's a. But I would say I would use him as and I know it'd be hard to portray but a manipulative black guy.
Yeah.
But I would like that because he could be a psychiatrist or you know what I mean.
He's a cerebral guy,
Yeah, cerebral. You know what I mean.
And I think that
he gets his way.
They don't see a black guy and say, "Oh, a black guy can be that." They just see a black guy. That doesn't make sense to me. But if a guy can pull it off, and he could sell it.
I think that's what the Woods did it. That's how they initiated. Remember, it was Kofi and E. They were wrestling, and Woods came out.
Yeah, they were in suits and shit.
Woods came out in a suit.
Woods came out in a suit. Next week they were like.
But I think what does kind of happen is real world. So if you have what they were going to be was a militant kind of group a la Nation, they couldn't do that in the heels of Michael Brown. I think that really happened in the summer. That's that same summer, So
it'd be so controversial, especially at this time, to do something like that.
It's a huge risk. And I don't think I wouldn't write it. I wouldn't write it right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't write it right now too. Things are too hot. you know.
And I think that you can do other, and I think and that's what they don't view us other than. You know what I mean? They see us either as entertainers, goofballs, or jocks. Which I think they got E. I hate to say they got E in that role, but they got E in the role of a jock. You know what I mean? Like he's the muscle. He's brain though. Like
he's what?
He has brains. Like he's not just a bronze. What I mean? Like not just a brute.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
He actually has comedic timing. He's funny. He's funny.
I think if you gave E a heel role, kind of like I want to break out,
especially now, giving him a heel role, I wonder how he would interpret it and how he would portray it, because he can portray it with such a smug way.
But if it's written well, I think he can.
Because he's not New Day anymore, but he can still be sarcastic and shit in a smug way that's like, I'm better than these guys
because I am better.
Because I'm bigger, I'm stronger, I was the best for them, and now I'm trying to take do my thing.
I need 5, man.
Remember that? That was good. 5. Imagine if he brings it back to 5.
Imagine if he turns on. Imagine, boom, Book and Black. Well, sorry, Bobby, we got off. We did you. Boom, we still in some pages of lot. And
we can just go down a rabbit hole with this Black booking. So it's just ridiculous.
But the logic of wrestling, that's why they don't. But I think if they did, if they turn, the reason why they don't turn is because of the business side.
Exactly.
New Day is really great. I think, but if you can have, I think New Day versus Titles Worldwide would have worked if you had an adversary, a black. You can have a black adversary. You know what I mean? Like. Everybody black don't have to be a baby face.
Yeah.
Sasha can be a great heel.
Yeah.
I think Apollo can be a good heel. Apollo could be that role of like, listen, man, y'all don't know what y'all doing with me. Like, I'm just about to start beating people up.
Yeah.
And who's gonna stop me? You gonna suspend me? Cool, I'm gone. Send me back to NXT. Work me in it. Imagine Apollo go back to NXT.
It would be so dope.
And Apollo and Adam Cole. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't use it.
And the only time I remember them portraying black heels in a good way was King Booker, because
King Booker.
And that got over because it's so absurd, so out there. And then you have Mark Henry, who I think got over, but some just didn't like that run. I thought it was great.
No, the Hall of Pain.
And he was an angry black guy, but he was fucking good at it.
And
it wasn't like a mockery. It wasn't like, He
was angry because 15 years. 15 years. I mean, Apollo can do the same thing. Like, man, it took me a decade to get here. Y'all got me doing, he can turn on Titus and do that little bit of rivalry, do a blow off, because they didn't do that primetime players weren't good enough. With that blow off. But now you can have Titus now you can legit have Titus as a babyface like you want. Yeah. Because you need Titus as a babyface, as great as he's doing in the community,
that's true.
The logic and the business side. But you can have Apollo as a heel, like, listen, I don't need you, I don't need this. Listen, have him go on a run with Seth. Do a, you know what I mean? Like, challenge for Seth, lose, and he can be like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then he can attack Seth, get some babyface heat on Seth, and be like, "Damn, I lost."
Yeah. He can be a crybaby,
crybaby.
No, he
And you can book a crybaby black man.
Like,
it's
okay.
Be a
crybaby, there's so many.
It's fine. There's so many.
We know crybaby black people. Whether it be the court, whether it be at work,
it's like, dog, you always complaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can book that. Like, I think that would be dope. But so business side. So shout out to Vince getting that $1 billion from Fox. That is huge. We were talking about that.
We get to that.
We were talking about how maybe this would be presented in a sports element. I had the idea possibly, and I got it just off of just listening to other podcasts. And I'm gonna get to you, Adam Silverstein. Is that your name? I don't even know. So whatever. I think that's his name.
I don't know.
In this corner podcast with Brian Campbell. Shout out to Silver King. I didn't steal this idea or this take, but I'm elaborating on it. Where it can be, wrestling on Fox can be presented in a sports element or a sports way, where they have the first take, wrestling's first take, or they present the pre-show and the draft with coverage.
Yeah,
like
it would be so cool to see presented in a more sports-like fashion. Because yeah, they're a variety show and they're appealing to the mass audience. But I think sports competition does appeal to the mass audience as well.
Yes.
You know, as we see that the NFL, makes like tons of money. NBA, baseball. So we know it's marketable. We know it makes money. And I think it's a time to do it because we can portray it in a way where everybody can actually get a win. And everybody, because I think that we're in a time where we accept smaller guys.
We do.
Getting over. Whereas in the 90s and early 2000s, I don't think people would see a smaller guy and say, oh, he could beat that big dude. I think that people were in age of a guy like Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather, who are smaller guys who can kick a lot of big guys' ass if they, in a fight. I know it's wrestling, but I think it's more acceptable in this day and age.
So when we're talking about the business and the logic, I don't think Fox just spent $1 billion. My idea, and I'm elaborating off of what I heard, and it's true. I don't think Fox just spent $1 billion just for SmackDown alone. Yeah, like that's just for SmackDown alone. Like the XFL, they still don't have a network of where they're going to be presented. The deal starts in 2019. XFL starts in 2020. Mm-hmm. That might
it could be so many things right now.
Like,
I'm really curious to see how this plays out. And I'm excited.
I'm super excited. And this is why we do. This is why I got with CT to do this podcast, man, because we don't know what our ideas may create. Yeah. We may be curators to this renaissance that's happening. You know what I mean? We may be put on. They might have a budget for us. You feel me? Like, I'm inspired by Conrad and Bruce Pritchard. Yeah, absolutely. 2 years. They podcast started August 5th, 2017, and they're 2-time podcast champions in a row. They got a special on the WWE Network. I'm coming. We're coming for you.
Coming for you. Oh my God!
So when it comes to the business, man, this is a big opportunity for everybody that's doing what they're doing, and to make it like speak. This is definitely off topic, but Deborah Lee is stepping down with BET, and business wise, for television wise, for Logic. I seen it earlier. Like, why not get cooking shows and finance shows and stuff like that? Put that on BET. Cool. Try to work out a contract with the HBCUs and get football and stuff like that on BET.
That's like cool.
Business Logic, cool. Like that would be. Let's make black entertainment television.
Run the gamut.
Let's get writers to create those type of shows. Let's get out.
And back in the day, they used to do more news and stuff like that. They didn't. They really used to do more back in the day. Then they changed suddenly, and now I hope they get back to that.
Well, it depends on who that CEO is and what they want to do with that. What Viacom will want to do with the network, and also
I wish BT had like a daily show, new show, because Daily Show is funny as fuck. And then
let's shout out, BT, if y'all want to listen. And this sparks into something. Y'all got it from us.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. Black people, listen. We're just trying to let you know that it's money out here to be made with us,
absolutely,
for us, with us. You know what I mean? Like we can handle it. You know what I mean?
You gotta put the work in.
We will
make a vision.
Make a vision and see it out.
And we see it out. Having my vision board. You have your vision board. We're trying to make something happen. And I think we are. We got something here. I really do.
What WWE, I think their vision board is that their shareholders' stock just went up. I think
absolutely.
Shares are $60 a share right now. I missed out on it.
Yeah, I remember when it went on the market. I was
2014. It was 2014, I think it was.
2014.
It was 4 years ago, I think. It was I was over 5
No,
years.
when they went to the stock market back in
Was
2000.
oh,
1990, yeah.
when they
When
first
they first went
first
public, yeah, went
okay,
public.
okay.
I remember being in was it sixth grade, and we were doing stock market stuff in school, and I was like, yo, I want to buy this, and I was like, I don't have any money. I want to buy stock in WWE because I was just a big fan, and I was just too young to understand the whole thing. I was like telling my dad about it, but I wasn't really taking it seriously. I don't think he would do it, but it was. I wish I did. Like, imagine.
Yeah, I mean, even when it went up in 2013, 14, I think it was like $10 a share, and
yeah, struggled for a while, but yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I
should have just kept that.
Anyway, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out to the business. Shout out to all the shareholders. Shout out to all the. So with that, like I said, with the business and the logic, that's why they book the way they do sometimes. Logical wrestling. Logical wrestlers, they go reasonable. They go to Fox comes in like, what are we going to get? Who are we going to get? Weekly television.
Exactly.
WWE doesn't have an off season, so it's 52 weeks of television. Fox got to know what's going to go on their television. They got to know who's going to be on there, who's marketable. You know what I mean? So that's why New Day stays on SmackDown during the draft. That's why, Charlotte Flair stays on SmackDown. That's the name. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Flair name, SmackDown product.
Yeah.
New Day
bring more eyes.
Product. Yeah. So.
And it's more like people who that would know her are more wrestling fans, anyways. That so SmackDown's more geared towards like a more wrestling fan crowd, as Raw, as you see, is geared for more like a broader audience.
And WWE should embrace the pop culture that wrestling has created for itself. Like,
absolutely.
Ric Flair name is on the song is double platinum.
Ric Flair drip.
Ric Flair drips double platinum.
I mean, it was a decent song, It was a catchy song. It was
a catchy song, but I mean, with that, you have to go and be like, yo, listen, WWE still rings out to the masses.
Absolutely. WWE has a platform in a way that I think for a while was uncool. It was the lame thing to do. You want to almost hide that you're a wrestling fan for a while because you're like, oh, everybody thinks it's corny because they would do such corny fucking shit on a regular basis. They still do, as we know, the Bobby Lashley and shit. I don't want to get into that conversation again, but I think that we're in an age right now where it's coming back around, and it's we can have another golden era. We're primed. We're primed for a golden era of wrestling again, especially when then you want to bring it to some fold. New Japan, and then we got All In coming up. PWE, you got MLW. Shout out MLW. It's everything's it's coming up. Shout out MLW. So everybody's kind of come up in wrestling, and it's so cool to see. And we all want to be a part of that. We want to be a part of that.
Yeah. So and the reason why we have this segment called Business and Logical Wrestling is that it just lets you know that, hey, we're marks too, but sometimes you can't mark yourself out.
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? We want the best product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We do want the best product. We do want continuity. We do want logical storylines and well-written television. But
just like back in the day when I was a kid, I was like, oh, why don't they just do 4 cages on top of each other and then put a ladder on top of the Hell in a Cell? I'm like, that's what I wanted to see as a kid, and I'm like, that's just irrational. It's just so irrational, and you don't want to be like so deep in this thing where you forget that this is also to make money at the end of the day.
To make money, and obviously they making money.
They making money, and they're doing something right. As much they aggravate the fuck out of me all the time. I see shit on TV. I'm like, oh my god, this is like revolting as a wrestling fan. But you also got to look at it from the point of like, all right, a bottom line. And that's what I see WWE as.
Off of Business and Logic, we'll get back to that next week, and we'll have a little bit more. Our last and final segment that we usually gonna leave you off with is Takes on Takes. All right, and Takes on Takes is our review of the review. Okay, so this whole idea originally started off with me listening to I listen to podcasts. I'm an avid. We all listen to podcasts. We're avid podcast listeners, and so I was listening to In This Corner podcast with Brian Campbell and the Silver King, and at minute 51 and 24 seconds, Right, so they're reviewing the show and they're saying how it's so bad, and this is why I say you can't mark yourself out, right? How it's so bad, and Roman Reigns is so bad, and how do you fix Roman Reigns? And you can only fix Roman Reigns if you do this, right? And this is credit to CBS Sports. I don't want no smoke, okay? We just young dudes trying to do a podcast. But I'm gonna credit you guys. This is comes to you CBS Sports. Brian Campbell, Adam Silver King. Yeah. This is the take that made me say I have to do a podcast.
We gotta respond to this.
And we gotta respond to this. Right? So
here we go.
Here we go.
Driving into work today, I had a really good idea, honestly, on what to do with Roman Reigns, and it's this: you have Roman in the ring getting booed. Hulk Hogan's music hits.
I mean, okay. So let's. All right. Oh, God. All right. I don't want to repeat it. Let's replay it. Okay. It was a couple seconds. Let's go. I mean, all right. One more time.
I brought this up because this is not on our rundown, like discussing booking Roman or ideas or anything. But driving into work today, I had a really good idea.
First off, okay, he had a really good idea. I mean, it was.
I had a really
good idea. So I'm listening like, okay, what is this really good idea? Here it is.
Oh, boy.
Honestly, on what to do with Roman Reigns, and it's this. You have Roman in the ring getting booed. Hulk Hogan's music hits. Oh, my God.
Hulk Hogan music. Hulk Hogan, of all people, is what is going to get Roman Reigns over in this day and age. Hulk Hogan, woo! Yes.
I mean,
you should play that music. Oh my God, I love Roman! Woo! Hulk Hogan,
man.
But that is not even the end of it.
So I didn't do it justice and play the whole clip. So to paraphrase it, because I don't want to go through it all. He wanted Hulk Hogan to come out there and say, "Hey Roman, you're going about this all wrong. When they turned on me, you know what I did, brother? I got some of my friends and we turned the wrestling world upside down." So he suggested that Roman gets the Usos, right? Shout out Us. All right, gets the Usos and they be a de facto NWO and run rampant over the wrestling world. And that's how you get. God. And it's going to be so cool and so innovative that Roman's boos would be cheers.
Yeah, that's unbelievably absurd. It's just the worst thing I've ever heard of is that Hulk Hogan is going to get Roman over. And I don't know where he actually thought people were going to give a fuck about Hulk Hogan. If anything, that'll make it worse. I mean, they love Hulk Hogan. They don't love Roman. We need to buy into Roman. And we're not gonna boo Hulk Hogan. They didn't even work. We didn't even boo Hulk Hogan when he was in the NWO and WWE last time. And then he wants to be like the brainchild of this Samoan NWO.
Ah, man.
And then he said he's gonna bring in.
He's gonna. Listen. Boy. So, all right. So that's how Reasonable Wrestling started. Okay, Reasonable Wrestling. There's no reason in that. There's no logic. There's no nothing in that. There's no nothing in that. Like that shouldn't have been a thought.
Well, all it is, I guess it's a cool thing to see Hulk Hogan on screen with Roman, and people who know Hulk Hogan from the past will be like, "Oh my God, it's Hulk Hogan!" And who's this other guy? Yeah, they'll see him, and that could bring. I mean, that's something that I think WWE will do. Because just to get the eyeballs on Roman, but it's as a character, and it doesn't do anything for Roman at all. It makes people hate him even more. Almost like you're just not as good as this legend. It's just no logic to that. They don't not like Roman because he's not next to somebody who's they remember. I don't know how you think that's the way.
I don't. So
where do you get the? I don't see the parallel with the line.
Silver King. Thank you. That's what I want to say to you, man. I want to say thank you for inspiring us to do what we're going to be doing. Hopefully on a weekly basis. Well, probably not on a weekly basis because there's more stupid stuff that's been said that I want to. So This
is gonna be fun.
Yeah,
I cannot wait. I'm rubbing my palms together.
Yeah.
I hope I don't flame anybody too hard, but some people say some dumbest shit. I'm sure you guys know, in the wrestling community is so toxic. The online wrestling
and
community
we don't
is
want
so
no
toxic,
beef. Like
we don't want no beef.
No. This is that's why it's gonna be a take on a take. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a review on a review. When you guys watch WWE and you do your podcast, you're doing a review. You're critiquing them and you're giving your response to what you think they should do. I'm giving my response and saying that is idiotic.
Yes.
I mean, and sometimes I will give my take on a take, and I'll agree on it, and I'll expand on it,
yeah,
and I'll
absolutely,
give my.
absolutely. I can tip my hat to so many things.
Yeah, to that hurt. Yeah,
we got a point.
You know, yeah. So, but this one started it off where we had to sit down together at our round table. We are legit at a round table in the living room.
Yeah.
With the raw tray in front of us. Natural Diamond Games. I usually smoke papers, but I lost them. So tune in next week to Reasonable Wrestling. Thank you for listening for episode 1. Make sure you click on episode 1.5. We'll be doing our character spotlight on Adam Cole, baby. Just how amazing that guy is as a character. That character is over, and it's amazing. So tune in, check us out. We'll be posting a link to this. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.